My name is Dallas Pruitt. I grew up in Salem, Utah. People ask me where I'm from. I live in Spanish Fork, but I will always claim Salem, Utah as my home. Salem was a small town when I grew up. I will always claim to be a small town guy, and I take a lot of pride in saying that I'm from Salem, Utah. For whatever reason, that's just always been my response. Morning routines are important. I think it's important to have a morning routine because our mornings set the stage for the rest of the day. You know, I say that the first 2 hours of any day sets the tone for everything else that will transpire. And really what I'm talking about is if we're reactionary within those first 2 hours of the day, the likelihood that we're reactionary for everything else that we face, all the hard situations that are going to arise within your business or anywhere else you go, you're probably going to be reactionary. When somebody cuts you off on the freeway, when your boss talks to you in a way that you felt was degrading or diminishing, if somebody gives you a dirty look. Those are simple examples, but if I'm reactionary to hitting the snooze button, for example, it starts then, and then that bleeds into all of those other events that transpire every single day for all of us. I don't want to be reactionary because high-level individuals, successful people, happy people, fulfilled people, they're not reactionary, they're proactive. And so for me, my morning is just that time for me to start off on the right foot and be as proactive as possible. And that looks like me taking care of my body. That looks like me taking care of my mind. That looks like me taking care of the relationships that matter most, which are the relationships with my kids. Non-negotiable every day is hug my kids before they leave to go to school and tell them I love them. And not have it be some type of surface level action, but do it on purpose with purpose, right? What my morning looks like, and that's why it's so important. It's important to have a nightly routine because there's a couple factors. One, quality sleep for me is vital. I would point out that that's one of the most increasing problems that the world faces is they're complaining about sleep, and it's no wonder. I mean, we have phones that are bombarding us. We're playing apps in our bed. You know, we're looking at a screen 24/7. We're vegging out on Netflix and all these other things. One, that diminishes purpose and meaning because those things have no purpose really other than to just, you know, veg out and watch. But two, it creates restlessness, right? Like you leave things undone. And that stuff weighs heavy on your conscience, and it weighs heavy on your subconscious. Whether you recognize it or not, those things are getting undone. Those things are wreaking havoc on your mental well-being. A nightly routine is super important, and what mine looks like is disconnecting so that I can reconnect, right? Disconnect from my phone, disconnect from all of those other devices, disconnect from most things that the world's bombarding me with so that I can go touch base again with the things that matter most and live intentionally. That gives a break to my brain, but it also helps me to get gain access to those touch points that are vital for me before I fall asleep. It comes back to family, it comes back to God, it comes back to planning, right? Like for a half hour every single night in my growth guide, I will break down the following day. I'll go through all my touch points, and that looks different for each person, but for me, that looks like me going through my daily goals. It looks like me strategically setting up my hours, right? And being a master of my schedule and optimizing my time and my energy for the day to come. And if I fall asleep before doing that, my morning routine's so set, it's hard to integrate that into my morning routine as well. And who knows what the morning's gonna bring, you know? My little girl sometimes gets sick and is up all night long, or whatever. So I take care of those things the night before. And really, I always teach the people that I work with, all the business professionals, anybody within any environment that I work with, winning the morning actually looks like you winning the night prior. It all starts before. And so for me, those are huge reasons why a nightly routine is so vital for success.